Hey, it's Raskas, and I know I'm not alone in saying this, I love to explore Splatoon stages. I like seeing all the graffiti and fun environmental details and Easter eggs, and going off of that to imagine the kind of world the Inklings live in. And then on top of that, me and some of my friends get a little extreme with it for fun, like we're identifying plants and putting it in a spreadsheet, squinting at grainy textures of squid gibberish text and translating it, and putting it in a spreadsheet. Splatoon 3's 2024 Sizzle Season introduced yet another new stage to explore and be not normal about, a train station called Lemuria Hub. But there's something quite interesting from the stage that Japanese fans of Splatoon could tell even from the pre-release trailer. Between the overall layout of it, the glass structuring, the aerial walkway, this is clearly based on Kyoto Station. And I thought, that's very cool. So I went to Kyoto Station. For a bit of background, Kyoto Station is Kyoto City's main transportation hub. But what's important here is that it's located just a couple stops north of Nintendo's main office building, so surely the people on Splatoon's development team would be quite familiar with this train station and would have easily been able to just go there to get inspiration when they were designing Lemuria Hub. So I thought it would be interesting to go there for myself and see what I can find. So in this video, I will be doing an exploration of Lemuria Hub and seeing how many references I can find to the real-life Kyoto Station, as well as any other neat trivia I can share. And there is a lot to say, so I'm just gonna jump right in. First, I'm gonna look a bit around the actual stage itself. By spawn, there's graffiti that looks like commemorative stamps you can get at train stations. There's also a lot of tickets on the ground. There's ones that distinctly resemble normal Japanese train tickets, as well as Shinkansen tickets. There's a lot of square script and other Inkling language text written in deciphered scripts. Me and my friends have looked at all of it. Unfortunately, most of it translates to gibberish, but I'll talk about a few of the decipherable examples throughout this video. Did you know umbrellas are the most commonly stolen item in Japan? Specifically these clear ones, they're so cheap and identical that if there's more than one of these at a crowded storefront umbrella rack, you can't tell whose it is. Sometimes people just use that as an opportunity to steal it. I've had one of my umbrellas stolen. Down here we have this little building with a sign mimicking Japanese. It reads Midori no Madoguchi, literally green ticket window. This is clearly inspired by a Japan Railways, or JR, ticket counter, right down to the logo. And there's a few of these located in Kyoto Station. Outside we can see this character, who is supposed to be the mascot for the IC cards that you use to pay for train fare. The design of the card and the logo is a clear parody of Suica, the system used by JR East, with the iconic penguin replaced with a squid. Inside there's a standee of one of the station's other mascots, very cute. Hiding underneath this moving platform are a couple stickers showing that she has a blue octopus friend. You can also find her inside of this little structure. This place is marked with a sign also legibly mimicking Japanese. It reads Tetsudo Annaijo, or Railway Information Spot. And like the ticket counter, the signage is also very similar to one that you can find in real life, except this one seems to be very specific to Kyoto Station. I like how all the pigeons in Splatoon have leg bands. Someone's keeping track of these little beasts. Wonderful. Alright, really most of the interesting stuff on the stage is in the background, so I'm going to start by looking at the entrance. This area seems to take inspiration from the view from both Kyoto Station's main entrance on the north side of the station, and from the Hachijo entrance on the south side. In the real-life Kyoto Station, this northern entrance faces an iconic landmark of the city, Kyoto Tower. It's the tallest structure in the city of Kyoto, so it's visible from quite a distance. It seems the Splatoon team took inspiration from both these aspects by making Splatsville's lobby visible from here. Also at the entrance of Lemuria Hub is a bus stop, and these green buses pull in frequently. Now there's several bus stops at the main entrance of Kyoto Station, which I don't think is surprising, but you're never gonna guess what these buses in-game are modeled after. Holy shit, it's the Kyoto City bus. It seems that some buses in the background of other stages, such as Flounder Heights, are also based on the colors of the Kyoto City bus. Another vehicle that drives through here is a taxi. These taxis are modeled after Yasaka Taxi, a company that operates only in the Kyoto Prefecture, identifiable from the red and white vehicles with the three-leaf clover logo on top. The ones in-game are sporting four leaves, though. But actually, there are four-leaf clover Yasaka taxis too. Out of the 1,300 or so Yasaka taxi fleet in Kyoto, there are 4 with a 4-leaf clover, and you can get a little commemorative card and sticker if you manage to catch one of these lucky taxis, as they're called. This isn't that important, I just think it's funny marketing. This brown building over here, this is based on the Avanti building, which is a big shopping mall that's right outside the south exit of Kyoto Station. Now this white building doesn't quite match anything seen from Kyoto Station. The logo on top makes me suspect this is taken from a different part of the city. This is a squidified version of the Takashimaya logo, which is a chain of fancy department stores. I'm sure they chose to parody this specific building because the only Nintendo store in Kyoto is located at the top of the Takashimaya store in Shijo Kawaramachi. Now what's that sound? While I heard this before at train stations in Japan, I didn't actually know it was for until I looked it up for this video. That sound is an entrance chime, which is to help blind people navigate to where the station is. This isn't the only example in-universe of accessibility for vision impairment. There is tactile paving used throughout the stage. There's these big digital signboards showing advertisements for various clothing brands, basketball games, sea cucumber phones, and so on. Kyoto Station also has digital signboards like this too, although I only see them used to advertise tourism and sites around the city. Even the style of garbage bins and how it's divided looks like something you'd find in a Japanese train station. Let's take a look over here behind Spawn. Up here you can see posters referencing the musical productions for The Lion King, Phantom of the Opera, and Wicked. But perhaps less known is that the sign next to these posters is referencing a real-life theater, Kyoto Gekijo, which is also located on the east side of Kyoto Station. Nearby there are coin lockers, a common sight at train stations. These are for storing luggage and, you guessed it, guns! On this signboard next to it you can see an advertisement for Arowana Mall and Skipper Pavilion, stages from Splatoon 1 and 2 that didn't make it to 3. Around the station there are ads for several stages from past games that didn't make it to 3. Kelp Dome, Gobi Arena, Schellendorf Institute, Museum d'Alfonsino, and Camp Triggerfish. This statue I figured had to be based on some real-life statue in Kyoto Station, but I wasn't sure what until I went to the station to see for myself. On the west side of Kyoto Station, there's this tall, narrow, red installation with a base that people do sit on, and on the eastern plaza, there's this bell tower, which can be easily seen even from the ground floor. The statue in-game is tall and narrow with 3 bells in it, so I can easily imagine both of these pieces could have been used as inspiration. The arrows on the floor leading to these ticket gates are written in decipherable square script, and unlike a lot of other text in this stage, the text here is actually meaningful. It reads, "I see Senyo only," which you can find signs like this in real-life train stations. There's a couple of whiteboards next to the ticket gates. I only remember seeing these when there's been an accident or a delay of some kind, but maybe there's something more normal written on these. Continuing clockwise, finally we're at where the trains are. Starting at this frontmost platform, which appeared to be numbered with 0. Railway stations around the world will occasionally have a platform 0, and this comes from when a new platform is built next to a platform 1, and they don't want to redo all the signs and confuse passengers. Out of over the 8,500 train stations in Japan, only 37 have a platform 0, and Kyoto Station is one of those. These marks on the floor to guide passengers are also decipherable. This is a misspelling of narabe, or to line up. And this says Yusen Haseki on the top, which I believe is Yusen Seki, or priority seating. I think the bottom says Minade Narabe, or everyone line up. God, look how f***ing grainy that is. Okay, so the autistic kid is gonna start talking about trains now. There are a variety of trains that enter Lemuria Hub, and I thought it would be interesting to look into what real-life trains these are all based on. I ended up googling around and looking at tweets and blog posts from Japanese train fanatics, and this is what I found. Starting with this frontmost track that Platform 0 connects to. The green train that passes through resembles a 201 series used by JR West. There's one more train that passes through this track, which is the same one you can see in the train station at the end of the tutorial. It could be a China Railway DF4, but it seems like no one is 100% sure what this is based on. The cars trailing behind it are a dark maroon color and appear to be a Hankyu 3300 series. Moving on to the 2 middle tracks, there are 2 trains that pass through and they both appear to be a 321 series used by JR West. One of these trains is covered in stickers to advertise Brownwater Springs. For this train, you can watch the ropes on the platform go up as the train doors open, and this kind of rope barrier between the platform and the track is used in some JR West stations. There's some other fun things on the platform, like you can see some jellyfish with their cameras ready, a staple of train otaku. There's a kiosk selling what appears to be souvenir sweets. It's hard to tell from a distance, but looking at the textures, it's a bit more clear. You can see something with strawberries in it, and then there's this pink box which seems to be referencing this specific akafuku mochi, which is like a rice cake topped with azuki beans in this wavy shape. This kiosk could also possibly be selling ekiben, which are meals you can eat on trains, which are also sometimes in these fancy little boxes. And holy shit, guys, is that a vending machine for ice cream? Yeah, this is based on 17 Ice brand ice cream vending machines, which is a ubiquitous sight at train stations in Japan. I never had one of these despite being tempted by them, but for the sake of research and also it being like 90-something fucking degrees outside, I tried it. I got the raspberry cheesecake flavor. It was alright, but I think something more icy and fruity would have been better, you know? By the way, the Inkling language text on this has been deciphered. Aside from the top saying ice cream, it's gibberish. You can see a signboard here with text mimicking Kyoto. There are many other signs around the station with the same piece of text. On the furthest track, this sleek-looking train arrives periodically. This is a JR Kyushu 885 series. The Splatoon team using this specific model of train is likely in reference to a collaboration that happened in early 2024 between Splatoon and JR Kyushu, where one of these very models of train was made into a Splatrain. That's literally what they called it. They declared the Inkling and Squid as the honorary station master for the day. Cute. The trains that pass through here are accompanied by these melodies and jingles. While there's a few other countries that have these sounds with their trains, Japan is especially well known for having tons of these train jingles, sometimes even made specifically for individual stations. For reference, here's what the JR Kyoto line melodies sound like in comparison to the ones in Lemuria Hub. And of course, in the very back, there's the still unexplained flipped-over Eiffel Tower. Between this and the Splatsville Tower, this confirms that Lemuria Hub is located right about here on the map. And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but maybe it is. The placement of the Eiffel Tower looks to be about where the Nintendo building would be from Kyoto Station. Continuing in this direction with the stairwell that leads you to where you transfer to other tracks. The text on the stairs is decipherable square script, and it reads Sen Norikai, or line transfer. And this reads Kakekomi Kinshi, or don't rush onto the train. Now let's take a look down here at the subway platform. This whole area is likely based on the boarding area for the Karasuma line, which is Kyoto City's main subway line. This reference is made apparent through the design of the signboard. There are stickers of eyes that are peeling away. The only other place these stickers have been seen in Splatoon is the Deep Sea Metro. Suspicious. As for the train running down here, it's speculated to be based on not a Japanese train, but a Washington Metro 1000 series car. Asbestos confirmed in Splatoon? Okay, enough looking down, let's look up. And of course, the area walkway is a real thing in Kyoto Station, and this is what it looks like from the inside. You can get a nice view of Kyoto Tower and the station itself from up here. Also, it gets lit up at nighttime. Alright, let's go back around to this side opposite to spawn. This seems to be where food and souvenirs are sold. Next to the ticket gate, there's a shop that is serving soba noodles, as that's what the sign is mimicking. The sign up here is mimicking omiyage, or souvenirs. Inside, although you can't see it on ground level, the shops do have textures showing the interior, and it very much does look like a sweet souvenir shop. One of the most popular types of souvenir sweets in Kyoto is namayatsuhashi, which is like this sweet, thin sheet of mochi folded around a filling, usually of azuki bean. Over here there's a sign advertising what appears to be namayatsuhashi, except there's little squid legs on it. This sign here is advertising baozi, and this is actually another real-life reference. This text is mimicking 551 Horai, a chain selling baozi, or nikuman as it's called in Japan. There's a 551 Horai, or rather 3 of them, located in Kyoto Station. For the sake of research and lunchtime, I went and tried it. Not an ideal meal for a hot summer day, but you can't really go wrong with meat and bread. Though pigs are extinct in the Splatoon world, so I'm sure the Inklings are eating something a little different. Maybe they use chicken or something. So here there are ticket vending machines. The sign above it mimics Jido Kippu Uriba, and the square script below it says the same thing in Romanized Japanese, which means automatic ticket vendor. Just like in real-life Kyoto Station, the machines are green, pink, and blue, with different functions between them. And this blue sign says Kippu Uriba Guchi, or ticket counter. I'm not quite sure what this sign is conveying. Above the ticket machines over here, there is a map of train lines. We can't say for sure if the Splatoon devs thought through the train lines much when making this map, but one interesting detail that they added in the corner is a familiar railway map that seemingly isn't connected to Lemuria Hub, and that is the Deep Sea Metro. I have to wonder how much they thought through the lore of this, if at all. Like, with this and the stickers in the subway, are they suggesting that Lemuria Hub and the Deep Sea Metro were once connected at one point? Or are they just making references for the sake of making references? Because it'd be crazy not to make a reference to the Splatoon train-centric DLC in the Splatoon train station stage. This will probably remain a mystery like a lot of things in Splatoon, unless someone happens to ask about it in a developer interview, which there's no guarantee of happening. Anyways, I think that concludes my exploration of Lemuria Hub. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something. Thank you all for watching, and big thanks to my Patreon patrons. Because of your contributions, I can make such high-budget productions like this. Like, do you know how far I went? How much it cost me to go all the way to Kyoto Station just to make this video? You guys better appreciate $8. If you join my Patreon on a paid tier, you get early access to my videos and my secret Discord server, and top patrons get a shout-out. Lime Pretzel, Monica Car, Psyche Clips, Saga Evan, Squid Hominid, Sydney, Unicorn Squad Madre, and my evil twin, Yasuka's. Jokes aside, it still does take time and energy to make these videos, so I'm thankful to viewers like you that my never-ending Splatoon hyperfixation can help pay the bills. As usual, I'll be putting sources in the description, and if there happens to be any major corrections, I'll put that in a pinned comment. Okay, that's all. See you in the next video. Bye!